Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am filming a very highly requested video, my makeup routine. I filmed one of these at the start of the year, but I didn't like it very much. I felt like the lighting in my bathroom wasn't good. I didn't go too in depth, so I'm doing a better job this time. If you've been following me for a while, you might remember that about a year and a half or 2 years ago, I asked people on the internet for tips because I was starting a makeup journey. I wanted to transform my makeup routine because I had been doing the exact same thing with the exact same products every day for like 8 years. And I watched a lot of tutorials, I watched a lot of makeup content, and I just completely changed my makeup routine. And it was a slow process, but I feel like I've really perfected it in the last year. And I get asked all the time, like, your makeup looks so different, what do you do now? Show us the updated routine. So that's what I'm doing today. And I'm gonna do it in a fun way. I'm gonna do my old makeup routine on half of my face and my new makeup routine on the other half of my face so you can really see the difference. I wanted my makeup to do a few things. I wanted it to suit my face shape, I wanted it to lift, and I wanted to look more makeup-y. And I know looking makeup-y isn't everybody's goal. I mean, some people like want to do the no makeup look, and that's fantastic. I love that. But I like a really particular look. I want to look lifted and snatched, and I want to look, I don't know, makeup-y. You'll see what I mean as we go on. So this is how I took my makeup routine from this to this. Before I get started, I will say, I just yanked my hair back, but I have a new cartilage piercing up here and it caught and it ripped it. Okay, fine. Before I get really into it, I will say that since the very start of this journey to now, I do have lip filler now and I have Dysport in my forehead. The Dysport doesn't change anything about the way my makeup looks. I didn't get a brow lift or anything like that. I do shave off the tail end of my brows now, which mimics a brow lift, and then I'll talk more in depth about that later. But the Dysport doesn't affect the makeup. I just thought I'd mention it. The lip filler obviously does affect the way my lips look. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But I will say I started getting the lip filler and the Dysport kind of halfway through the makeup journey, and y'all have still noticed a difference. Let's do this. I don't have anything on my face right now at all because the way I've prepped my skin changes too. So this is gonna be my old makeup routine and this is gonna be my new stuff. So in the past, I would just use a light moisturizer all over my face and that would really be my only skin prep. I think back then I used the Aveeno one. The closest equivalent that I have now is the La Roche-Posay Hydra Phase Light. It's just a very light moisturizer. And I still like this, but I do a little bit more now. But before, I would just use a light moisturizer all over my face. I didn't really know anything about my skin type back then. I have sensitive, dry, rosacea-prone skin, and I didn't do anything to address that at all. And then I would wonder why my skin was dry and flaky under makeup. So that's that half of the face done. Now I do keep my skincare routine pretty minimal. I don't use a ton of different products. I use like 2 or 3 products in the morning and 2 products at night or so. Something I'm currently loving right now is the Peach and Lily Glass Skin Refining Serum. It has peach extract, niacinamide, and hyaluronic acid and peptides. I know for my skin type, like I said, I have rosacea prone skin, that niacinamides and peptides are just good for me. So I'm gonna do that. I always bring skincare down to my neck and I let each step of my skincare sit for a second before I move on. I am gonna go in with the same moisturizer on this side of my face. I do like a lighter moisturizer in the daytime. This side of my face is already feeling like dry and tight because this just isn't, like by itself, this is not a heavy enough moisturizer for my skin type. And it used to feel dry and tight back then too, and I don't know why I didn't do anything about that. Now, I never used to use SPF on my face, ever. This is the Josie Maran Get Even Sun Milk. It has a nice light glow to it. There are a lot of face SPFs that I like, but I'm just gonna use this one today. This one is mineral, and I have also learned from a dermatologist that I should use mineral and not chemical sunscreen on my skin. So this one looks a little bit white when you rub it in at first, but then it goes away. If you have a problem with your sunscreen pilling underneath your makeup, give it a couple of extra minutes to soak into your skin and for your skincare and your SPF to sort of mesh before you go in with your makeup products. I found that that helps me. I also never used to use primer either. Like the moisturizer was the only skin prep I ever used to do back then. And one thing I'll say is that my makeup routine now is more steps, but it lasts longer, it looks better, and I feel more confident in it, so I don't mind that it's more steps. Again, that might not be the goal for everybody, that's what I'm doing. So I use primer now. I'm currently liking the Colleen Rothschild Black Tourmaline Face Primer. This is for mattifying, and it also smooths wrinkles and pores. And then I also do use a setting spray for longevity. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this. I get the most pores right around this area of my face. I find that my makeup tends to settle into my skin the most around my nose, in this area where my pores are, and then around my mouth. So that's where I focus the primer. Okay, skin prep is done. Now let's talk base products. I've always preferred a sponge over a brush. I just feel like it helps my base settle and look really blended and seamless and more skin-like. This is a beauty blender, but I think it's overpriced, and I would recommend getting an e.l.f. one or a Real Technique sponge instead. I was really curious about whether the beauty blender was worth it, so I bit the bullet and I tried it, and yeah, I just use the e.l.f. one normally, and that's what I'm gonna return to after this. So before, I would just put a foundation all over my face indeterminately, didn't really care, kind of used a thick layer, wasn't worried about it. I just wanted to block out as much color as possible. I cycled through a lot of foundations back then. I like the Rimmel 25-hour one. I still like that one. I'm gonna be using the Kosas Revealer foundation today because this is what I have on hand. I actually really love this foundation even now, and I especially like Kosas because they make concealers and foundations with olive undertones. This one is light, medium, neutral olive 210. And if you're an olive toned girly like myself, you know how hard it is to find olive toned makeup. So often people think that like if you have an olive undertone that means you're warm, and you're not, you're olive. That's not the same thing. Like warm tone makeup, like you might look at me and think, oh, you look kind of tan, you're warm toned. But if I were to use like really warm toned makeup products, I would look so orange because my undertones are green. I would recommend Kosas for anyone with an olive undertone, especially if you also have dry skin. So I'm just gonna put this everywhere, and I'm gonna use kind of a lot. There isn't anything wrong with the way I did my makeup before, it's just not how I prefer to do it now. So if you do your makeup the way that I'm calling my like old version, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. If you like it and you love the way you look, that's all that matters. This is just what I have changed. And the only thing that I don't like about my foundation application before is one, I didn't like prime my skin properly, and two, I just used a lot of foundation. So I'm gonna leave that side of my face. So now I wanna be careful about how much product, how many layers of product I'm putting on my skin, because I don't want my makeup to look thick and cakey. So instead of just going all in with a foundation or a concealer, first I'm gonna do my cream contour, because a cream contour or bronzer also adds coverage. So if I were to go in with cream contour or bronzer right now on this side of my face, that would just be two separate thick layers of liquid product that aren't necessary, and it's gonna cause cakiness. And I mean, I didn't use liquid bronzer or contour back then anyway, you'll see what I used. But now I'm gonna go straight into my skin with my liquid bronzer and contour, because it's already gonna add coverage, and then I can go in later and just dot concealer where I need it, and the layer of product on my skin ends up being a lot like thinner. I mean, there's still coverage, but it's just less cakey, so you'll see. So my two favorite products right now for this are the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand and the Say Sun Melt Light Bronzer. And I'm gonna do a little bit of both. I'm gonna do a little bit of contour, not very much, especially with this product, a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just gonna dot like twice, just on my cheek like that. And I'm also gonna do, I do a little bit on the side of my nose here. Again, not very much, really just a dot, and then a little on my forehead. So that's the placement. And then I go in with a brush. Where is this brush from? This is a NYX Professional Makeup number 37. I don't really know anything more about it. It's just a dense, like angled brush. And I'm gonna blend that in. I kind of just go down the side of my nose. I'm not really contouring my nose. I don't really do a specific contour, but I add color to it. I'm trying to make sure that the makeup doesn't mix like down the middle of my face, so you can really get a good before and after. So that's my contour done. And then I'm gonna go in with the cream bronzer. Contour is cool tone because it's adding shadow, and then bronzer is warm tone because it's adding like color and life, and it makes you look really sun-kissed. I've heard that this Say Cream Melt, or no, what is it? Sun Melt bronzer is like a dupe for the Chanel cream bronzer. I've never tried the Chanel cream bronzer, but I mean, that's fun. This is the shade Light Bronze. It actually might be too light for me right now. And I'm just gonna lightly go over what I just did. This stuff is so creamy. It blends into your skin like such a dream. I'm just gonna bring it down on my jaw like this and a little bit down like here too. We're working in very thin layers. That's key here. Thin, buildable layers. So here's the difference so far. Now I'm gonna go in with my concealer. There are loads of different concealers that I like. I love the Kosas Revealer Concealer, Tarte Shape Tape, Maybelline Fit Me. I love the Rimmel Concealer, and today I'm gonna use the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, I believe, in the shade Sepia. A little goes a very long way with this concealer. So before, in my old routine, I would put kind of a lot on and just kind of swipe it like that, and then put some on my nose, and that was it. And now, I'm gonna just dot. I don't wanna cover up the bronzer that I've just put down. So I'm just gonna dot it like right where I need it. And then I'm also gonna put some right here under my contour. And I try to keep product off of my forehead, but I'm gonna do a little bit. So again, here is the difference. Here's how we're looking so far. You can always go back and add more, but you can't take off makeup that you've already put down unless you're just gonna start like all the way over. So then I'm just gonna blend. I'm gonna blend out this side. There's so much product on this side. My skin already feels so heavy and I didn't prime it properly. And here's how we're looking now. And I'm not exaggerating this, by the way, for the sake of the video. Like, I'm really showing you exactly how I used to do my makeup and the differences. And you can already see that this side just looks so much lighter and like more skin-like, and this side is really heavy. Sometimes I do a liquid blush. I'm not feeling it lately, I don't know why, so I'm just gonna go ahead and set my face. So what I do now is, after I finished applying all of my cream products, I take my setting spray. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, and I spray my cream products. I let that dry down, and then I powder. I used to just go straight in with powder, so I'm gonna spray only this side of my face. I'll let that dry. I used to just take powder on a brush and kind of put it everywhere, all over my face. Again, why was I doing that with dry skin? I don't know. So I'm just gonna kind of powder everywhere. This is the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. So now what I do, and I'll be honest, I actually don't know if this particular step makes that big of a difference, but it's what I do now. I have one of these little triangle powder puffs. Fully got this off of a TikTok trend. But now I powder my under eye with the puff. I think it helps smooth my under eye. I could totally be lying to myself. I'm not gonna like die on the hill of this particular makeup trick, but I don't know. I always tap out my under eye with my finger before I powder to make sure I'm tapping out any wrinkles, or like creases, not wrinkles, in the makeup. And I powder under my eye, and then I just powder like under my contour. And then I go in with a brush and I knock off all the excess powder. And I don't powder my entire face. Like, that's the key difference here. Like before, I would just powder like literally everywhere all on my face. And now I just kind of only powder where I'm gonna get oily. Spraying your setting spray before you apply your powder makes your makeup last 10 times longer. I don't know how, I don't know the science, but trust me, try it, it works. Okay, so now we are really getting to the part where we're gonna see some big differences. So I'm gonna do my bronzer next. I'm going to use the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Luminous Bronzer in Bronze Light. I've been following you for a while, you know this is one of my absolute holy grail products. It's incredible. This does have a shimmer in it. I used to use a completely matte bronzer. I don't have one of those anymore, so I'm just gonna use this on both sides of my face, but the difference is in the technique. So I used to use this exact EcoTools brush since I was like 14 years old. It's this angled brush, and I would take my bronzer, and it was matte back then, and I would just do this, only in this motion. I would just bronze like that and put a little bit on my forehead. I would kind of hold the brush like flat against my face. This is bringing back so many memories now, you guys. And I would just do that. And I wouldn't put any on my nose. Now I do a different technique. This is an e.l.f. Flawless Face Brush. It looks like this. It's like really thick and dense. And I'm going to take my bronzer. I'm not gonna take very much because we've already done like the cream products. I'm really just setting the cream products. And I'm going to lightly swirl on my face and on my forehead. But I'm gonna focus most of the product past this point on my cheekbone. I don't know if you noticed, but when I was doing this, I was bringing it like almost all the way down to my nose, like that. But I want my face to look lifted. I want my face to look like snatched. So I'm gonna focus most of the product behind this point on my cheek. And I'm gonna use a light swirl motion because again, I don't wanna put down too much. And I also stipple a little bit. I don't know why, it just feels like it helps. And I put it on my nose. And I don't know how to put it on my nose without putting it on my entire nose, but I don't know, dab it on my nose. And then you can also do your neck. This is one of the biggest changes in my makeup routine yet. I never used to use blush, never. I would stop with the bronzer. I would, like for my base, I would stop right here. I love blush now. Blush is one of my favorite parts. My favorite, again, if you've been here for a while, you know, the Hourglass Ambient Lighting, specifically in the shade Sublime Flush. It looks like this. I've been using this for well over a year. And another note about olive skin tones, you might think because you've been told your whole life to use warm tone products, the corals, the oranges. I would always use warm tone things like that and then wonder why I just never really liked it. Don't be afraid of cool tones. Don't be afraid of neutrals. Again, if you're olive, that means you're green, you're not orange. So this is a cooler toned pink blush, but I just really like the way it looks on my complexion. So a big change is I use blush now when I didn't used to. But another important part is how I apply it. This is a Sephora 96 blush brush. Looks like that. And I'm gonna load up. I use a lot of blush. And again, the placement is so key here. Your product placement can literally make your bone structure look like it's a different shape. And I have a square jaw, and so I don't want to focus too much on the center of my face. I want to focus on the outer perimeter for me and my face shape. I would really recommend, no matter what face shape you have, taking the time to learn what makeup techniques actually flatter your bone structure. It makes a humongous difference. So anyway, I'm gonna take this blush, and again, I'm only gonna put it back here. I'm not gonna put it here. I do not want it in the apples of my cheeks because that's gonna create fullness. I'm gonna put it back here because that's gonna create the look. And I use a lot of blush too because I just personally prefer that look. So I'm gonna dab it on, and I kind of use like one of these motions. And I'm gonna keep it really high on my cheekbone, and I'm also gonna put it a little bit outside of my eye here. If I don't have blush, my makeup doesn't look done to me. I don't know what it is. And then I'm gonna put a little bit on my nose as well. And then a really big thing I do, this is controversial. Some people tell me that they hate the way this looks on me. I love it. I put it on my forehead. And people are like, oh, that makes you look sunburned. I know, and that's what I like. I like the fact that a little blush on the forehead makes you look like you spent all day out in the sunshine. Bronzer is great, but like when you see someone with a little bit of pink on their forehead, you're like, they've been at the pool all day, they've been at the beach all day. And I haven't, but a little bit of blush, not too much. Sometimes I've overdone it, and I deserve criticism in those instances, but just a little dusting of blush. Are you seeing the difference so far? Now I move on to eyebrows, and if I had to pick one thing from my makeup routine that's changed that I feel like has made the biggest visual difference, it would be my eyebrows. So like I said before, I shave off the tail ends of my eyebrows just a tiny little bit. We're talking like 1.5 centimeters. It's really not much. But I used to extend my eyebrows down, and it made my face look like it was dragging down. I shave off the tail ends of my eyebrows now, and I lift them when I use my gel, like I'll show you. I just make sure that the eyebrows go out and not down. It makes a humongous difference. My eyebrow routine, I have not changed it in over a year. I have not changed the products or anything in over a year. I swear by my eyebrow routine. It makes me feel so confident and so put together. So I'm gonna show you my old version first. So what I used to do was take a pencil and, you know, take a little spoolie, brush my eyebrows up, and I would just fill in here, but I would extend it down. So this eyebrow is shaved right now, but my eyebrow naturally stops about here. So I'm gonna draw my eyebrow back in as if it wasn't shaved off, and I'm gonna draw it down to right here because that's what it is naturally. So I would just take the pencil and fill in the sparse areas. Back then, I swore by the e.l.f. eyebrow pencil, which actually is a really good eyebrow pencil. I'm not talking shit about any of the products that I used to use before. I'm only talking shit about my personal technique. But the e.l.f. eyebrow pencil is actually really good if you're in the market for one. This is a Benefit eyebrow pencil that I just happen to have on hand. And I'm gonna fill in the sparse areas, and I'm gonna bring my eyebrow back down to its original shape and size. But I'm also gonna extend it a little bit because that's what I used to do back then, because I heard all those eyebrow tricks like, you put your spoolie right here, this is where your eyebrow should start, and then if you do this, this is where your eyebrow should end. Did anyone ever see those tips and tricks on OG makeup YouTube? That's what I was doing. And that might work for a lot of people. This is the thing with makeup. It's so personal. What works for one person might not work for you. And that's why, like, I can tell you my makeup routine and my makeup tips and tricks, but if it doesn't work for you, that doesn't mean that the tips and tricks are bad. It just means that we have different faces and you have a different preference, and that's fine. So I was just blindly taking advice before from people online, just like trusting that what worked for them would work for me, and it just didn't. Okay, that's about how I would do it before. Actually, that's a little better than how I would do it before because this brow pencil is really skinny and you can get a precise line. But after I did my pencil, I would just set it with a brow gel, and I didn't have a favorite. I'm gonna use my current brow gel, which is the NYX Brow Glue. I use this now to get a very sturdy eyebrow. This shit doesn't budge, and I really coat my eyebrows with it. I'll show you. But back then I just used to push the hairs up and out and then leave it. It didn't take very long. So I would just do this. And even that was a step up actually, because when I first started doing my makeup, I didn't even set my eyebrows with gel. I would just leave it. So this is my old eyebrow routine. It's not bad, it's not bad, but I love the way I do my eyebrows now. I'm gonna tweeze a few hairs because if you can see here, I am already starting to grow back. And just for the sake of the video, so you can get the full effect, I'm gonna tweeze this side, and then I'm gonna have to do that side later. So I just take a tiny little bit off the ends and off the bottom so that the brow is a little bit shorter. I have entire videos just on this, like old ones on my TikTok. I'll find my eyebrow video and I'll link it down below if you want a full look on why and how I shave my eyebrows. Now I'm gonna take my NYX Brow Glue, the best, I love this stuff. Okay, I'm gonna back comb my eyebrows with the gel to coat all of the hairs, and then I'm gonna push them up and out, and I'm gonna make sure the tail end is lifted. I am not gonna drag it down, I'm going to push it up and out. And I'm gonna get my brows the shape that I want them to be. I'm gonna take my finger and I'm gonna press it down like this, lay the brow hairs down flat. This also helps get rid of any extra product. I've heard some people say that using the NYX Brow Glue makes their eyebrows look dusty, it catches product, but this kind of helps. And then I use my nail to just shape them. And then once I like it, I leave it, and this is not gonna move all day. This is not gonna move. Okay, look, even now you can see, without even filling this eyebrow in, you can see how this side of my face already looks more lifted from the things I've done so far than this side does. Next, I take the Anastasia Beverly Hills Granite Brow Powder Duo, and I only use this side. I don't think I've ever even touched the dark side. I use the lighter side. This is a dark brow. My eyebrows match my root color. They do not match the bleach part. I like a big contrast between eyebrow color and hair color, personal preference. I have had this brush since I started doing my makeup. It is an Eco Tools brush. I don't know what the name of it is because it is long since worn off, but it's just an angled brush. I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna lightly fill in mostly just the underside of my eyebrow and then just kind of push the product throughout. But I'm not gonna lay a ton of product down. I don't wanna cover the entire surface area of my eyebrow. I just really wanna put it only where I need it. And I always make sure I'm not extending the eyebrow. Okay, done. Then the next step, and my favorite step, is my eyebrow pen. I have gone through maybe 10 of these. This is the NYX Lift and Snatch Brow Tint Pen, and I use the color black because again, I like a dark brow. I take the eyebrow pen and then I do little hair-like strokes all throughout the brow to give it a little bit more dimension, to make it a little bit darker. And I'm telling you, a brow pen is the best brow tool. And I do a couple little flicks at the start of my brow here. And then if need be, I'll take my finger and I'll run it under right here to blend out the bottom edge, just in case it looks a little fake, even though it is fake. And there we have it. Love it. Okay, I'm gonna zoom you back out. I know you can tell already the subtle differences that are there. Now I'll do my eyes. My eyes are actually really simple. Most days I don't even use any eyeshadow or any eyeliner or anything. I'll just go straight into my lashes. But again, for the sake of the video, I'll show you. I usually just like take my finger and rub out all the extra concealer that's creased on my eye. Don't have any better way of doing that so far, and I don't use an eye primer. If you have recommendations, let me know. But that's just kind of what I do. I used to just take a lightish brown color. This is the Tartelette and Bloom palette, and I'm gonna take this color, the Smarty Pants color, and just put it all over my entire eyelid. This is for the old version. I used to use, like back when I had that matte bronzer, I would use the same bronzer on my eyelid as I would use on my face. And to be honest, sometimes I do use my current like shimmery bronzer on my eyes, and it's very pretty. But I'm just gonna put that all over my eyelid and blend it out into my crease. And I'm gonna put it underneath my eye, like blend it out all the way under my eye and into my lash line. Kind of almost making like a big circle around my eye, kind of like that. And now I'm gonna take the exact same color, but I'm only gonna put it in my crease, and I'm not gonna put anything under my eye. This is another really big difference that makes my makeup look like a lot more snatched, is I don't put anything underneath my eyes now. Not eyeliner, not mascara, eyeshadow, nothing. So I'm just gonna put this in my crease. Now I'm gonna take the color Smoke Show, which is this dark one right here, and on my like old side of my face, I'm gonna just put it on my lash line. I'm not gonna wing it out. I'm just gonna smudge it into my lash line. This is how I do my makeup, like on a daily basis. I don't do a lot on my eyes, but if I was going, you know, anywhere where I just wanna slightly elevate my makeup, anything that isn't like the daily routine, so even just like, I don't know, wanting to look nice for a video or going to like lunch with a friend, you know, any situation where I want to do a teeny tiny little bit more, this is what I'm doing. So just taking Smoke Show, putting it in my lash line, and I'm also going to put it on my lower lash line on the outer third of my eye. Just in the outer third, like that, and then I'm going to take my finger and smudge it out so it's not too harsh. I'm going to take the exact same color on the exact same brush, and now I put it on my lash line like normal, but a little trick I have that I learned on TikTok for doing a really easy subtle wing with a powder or a pencil liner is once you've laid your product down, this works better if you have like a acrylic nail or something on, but if you take your nail and you like drag it against your skin and you drag it out, it very subtly takes the product out with it, and it gives you like the tiniest little hint of a wing, like this. Can you see that? It's really subtle, but it's there. And then you can go in and, you know, connect it if need be, but it's just the tiniest little something. It's really easy, it's practically foolproof, and I don't know, I love it. And I don't put anything underneath my eye. Now I'm gonna do my mascara. I really like to use an eyelash curler now, and I cannot find it, which is unfortunate. I used it 2 days ago, so I have no idea where it went. So yeah, I never used to curl my lashes, and usually I do now, but I can't today. But the rest of my eyelash routine is kind of the same. I have always been a really big fan of the Voluminous Lash Paradise Primer. This is a fantastic eyelash primer, and I've always used it. So I'm just gonna put that on both eyes, and then I'm gonna use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara today. I prefer drugstore mascaras, especially L'Oreal and Maybelline ones. I think they're really fantastic. This is what I have right now. The only difference in my lash routine now, besides curling, like my new routine, is that I don't put anything under my eye. I don't put mascara on my bottom lashes. On this side, I'm gonna do mascara on top and bottom. Other than that, I feel like mascara is kind of boring, so I'm gonna skip through this part. Also, just in general, I would definitely recommend an eyelash serum. I've used Babe Lash and Grande Lash in the past, and the e.l.f. one, and all three of them have worked for me. And I'm gonna put mascara on the bottom here. It feels so weird to be doing my makeup this way, because I did it this way for years and years and years. And just because it's not serving me right now doesn't mean that it didn't serve me then. I mean, this makeup did land me a husband, so. Okay, the only thing left is my lips. Surprise, surprise, I never used to do anything on my lips. I would just put on lip gloss, or maybe just a balm. This is a fun lip gloss. It's the In Beauty Glaze No. 8 Mystery Glaze. It's just a clear gloss that turns pink when you put it on your lips. I'm just gonna put that on this side. No lip liner, no anything, just, honestly, I didn't even wear lip gloss that often. It was really usually just a lip balm. I feel like I should have done this in a different order. I feel like it's gonna be hard to put lip liner on There's already gloss on this side. Anyway, now I love lip liner. Lip liner is another one of my absolute favorites. It makes your lips look so juicy and so big. My two favorite nude lip liners, because I'm talking specifically about nude lip liners here. I use them almost to contour my lip. I love the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude, which is what I'm using today, and I also love NYX Nude Truffle, which again, I can't find. I don't know why I'm losing my makeup products. I need to repurchase that, but NYX Nude Truffle and Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. And I'm just gonna slightly overline my lips. Not too much, nothing insane or anything, but I'm gonna add a little bit of shadow. It's a brown toned lip liner, so I'm gonna add a little bit of shadow. I just slightly overline the edges. I don't really do much in my Cupid's bow at all because my Cupid's bow is already pretty defined. And I'm blend it out with my finger. Lip liner is a part of my daily makeup routine now, which I never would have expected, but it makes a really big difference. And now my favorite lip combo is to use one of these lip liners and then a stain with a gloss on top. It lasts a really long time and it looks really pretty. My favorite lip stains are the ones from Benefit. These are two of my faves right now, the original Benetint and then the Play Tint. This is much pinkier and this is more of a rose. I'm gonna use, well, I'll mix them because, you know, whatever, I have time. I'll do a little bit of each. But I love a lip stain because it lasts so long, and lip liner helps it last even longer, so you don't have to touch up your lip color nearly as often. And it just feels comfortable and it lasts even though you're eating and stuff. I'm just gonna dab my lip stain on this side. And then there are a lot of lip glosses that I like, but by far my all-time favorite is Fenty Fussy. This is an incredible lip gloss, and I'm just gonna put that over the rest of this side. And that is it. I moved over to get a little bit more even lighting because I want you guys to be able to see the difference. This is my old makeup routine. This is my new makeup routine. Old makeup routine, new makeup routine. They are very subtle differences. Like when you are doing your makeup routine, it doesn't feel that crazy to just like push the tail end of your eyebrows up or put your blush a little higher or don't put mascara underneath your eyes. But look at the difference. This side looks so much more full coverage. Even though we used more products on this side, it looks lighter and more glowy. And this is like 1000% accurate as also. I did not exaggerate this or do it bad on purpose or anything. Like, this is genuinely how I did my makeup every single day. And when you guys say like, you look so different now, it's makeup. It's literally all makeup. Blush makes a huge difference. Lip liner and the eyebrows, just not having like such a full coverage base. Makeup product placement. The eyes. I haven't seen myself with like mascara underneath my eyes in so long, and it's kind of tripping me out. I just feel like it drags my face down. Like this side of my face to me, it looks like it's going this way, and this side looks like it's going up this way. Like, okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it really helpful. I had a lot of fun filming it. It was fun to walk down memory lane. I will link all the makeup products I used today down below, and I'll also link my eyebrow shaving video in case you're interested. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go wash all of this off and do my makeup for real this time because I do have places to be today. I love you guys, and I'll see you so soon. Bye.